living in bizarro world? Am I the only one left with a proper functioning brain in this entire gaming industry from the consumer perspective? I really have no clue what is going through the minds of so many corporations and companies right now, where they are literally trying to nickel and dime you and then provide you with actual scams on a consistent basis. We saw PlayStation raise the price of their PS5 and PS5 Pro. We saw Xbox raise the price of their consoles. We saw Nintendo do the exact same thing to their 7-year-old hardware. And lo and behold, the one thing Xbox could have gotten right in the actual first place is pricing the Xbox ROG Ally and Ally X properly. And did they do that? No! Look, I've been called a lot of things really recently, a lot of ridiculous things recently. Number one, being called a grifter for some particular reason, just because I'm actually critical of gaming companies right now, and I don't fall in line like a good little soldier spending all my hard-earned money on these corporations and companies. Remember, they've got to earn your money, not the other way around. And watching this entire thing unfold truly has been insane. The fact that they waited till 8 o'clock last night in order to go ahead and provide the actual pricing for the Ally and Ally X really goes to show they try to make it fly under the radar. And what's even crazier is when you see the pricing itself and the explanation I'm going to give you. According to Wario64, the ROG Xbox Ally X pre-orders is $999.99 at Best Buy and the Microsoft Store. The Xbox ROG Ally is $599.99 on the Amazon, Best Buy, Microsoft Store, and Walmart. $1,000. $1,000 for a handheld console device. Sorry, a handheld PC. That's what we're spending. $1,000. Not the fact that the other actual handheld PCs now are $1,400 too. This is honestly ridiculous. I know people were like,
Alex, the performance you're getting for the Z2 Extreme chip is really worth it. It's out of control.
No, for $1,000, I'd rather get a laptop and have better experience overall and then use any controller I want and carry it around. Because you know what, if I'm going to spend that money, I might as well do everything that I want to on that specific device. There is no reason these devices should cost $1,000. Gaming is no longer a hobby for the normies who just want to play video games to unwind after being in their wage cage for 8 hours a day getting screamed at because you took 10 minutes too long in the bathroom. Now instead, you gotta pay all this extra money for having a device just to play some fucking video games in the palm of your hands. The entire process is honestly backwards. We are living in actual bizarro world where now we're seeing the actual cost of devices no longer come down throughout their lifespan and generation. What we're seeing now is each iteration afterwards go up $50 to $100. And that's the crazier part, because the Xbox ROG Ally, the white model, is practically the same performance as the Steam Deck. Wario64 tweeted this out. The Steam Deck LCD 256 gig is $319.20 until October 6th. I want you to sit here and process this, okay? Valve, the other competitor in this gaming space for handheld PCs, is now going ahead and lowering the cost of their actual LCD model. Even though it's 256 gigs, you could open the shell of it and add a brand new SSD inside of it to make it 1 terabyte or even 2 or even higher than that. So your total cost is going to be a lot lower than what you're spending right now on the Xbox ROG Ally white version. And the fact that the white version is $599 and has near the same performance as a Steam Deck makes absolute zero sense whatsoever. They are pricing themselves well above the actual deck itself, and it makes no sense. In fact, if you didn't want to go ahead and get the LCD, you could get the OLED model of the Steam Deck for $549, $50 less than the actual Xbox ROG Ally, even though it's at 1080p on the Ally and 800p on the Steam Deck. The difference is honestly negligible on a handheld device. So you're looking at a device that is true HDR, actual OLED, $50 less, and has the same performance. Why on earth would I buy the actual white Ally? It makes no sense. That device is left out to dry, just to basically go through and do nothing with but sit on the shelves. It makes no sense to buy that product. The only reason you would buy the white Ally would be because you want to play specific games that only have the actual setup of needing a kernel anti-cheat, because that's really the only reason you would buy that device, or even then if you were really deep into Game Pass. But for $600, it makes no sense. sense. The white Ally should have been $499 at the very most, in my personal opinion, because that would have put it in competition with the Steam Deck OLED and made more sense. Oh, I get a bigger screen, I get the Windows, I get Game Pass, I get all this other stuff, and it's $50 less than the actual OLED device. That makes sense price-wise. That would have been a good set of marketing strategy, because now you're going up against other competitors in the space, Asus and Xbox. What are we even doing here right now? I mean, take a look at this tweet directly from ROG themselves on Twitter last night. You asked for the price. You asked when the pre-orders would open. Here it is. The ROG Xbox Ally is officially available for pre-order, and they're live. With the response from Ty Coop saying $1,000 for a handheld is insane. Yes, Ty, it absolutely is insane. It makes no sense why they would put it for $1,000. Hardware is not supposed to be this expensive, especially right now. I don't think the gaming industry understands exactly what's happening, and I feel like they're trying to bet and put more lines on the actual high-end whales that will spend all that kind of money consistently just to have the newest device, and then hopefully then try to have other people spend their money on it as well. But the problem isn't just that. The thing is, we've seen consistently how year over year, time after time, especially in this generation, hardware doesn't decrease in price, it's actually increasing in price. Daniel Ahmad tweeted this out. People are saying $999 is expensive, but that's just the same price as an Xbox Series X or PS5 in 2029. My man got one. He got one. He absolutely, positively got one. That's what we've been seeing consistently in this gaming space, and it's not a good sign. For some reason, older hardware no longer decreases in price. Instead, it's a brand new barrier for the newer hardware to go ahead and charge more for and break. Hey, Sean Layden, knock, knock. Remember when you wanted to have every game cost more every generation? Well, here's the actual ramification. The more you price out your customers, the less you can sell. The less you can sell in hardware, the less games you can sell as well, meaning you then have to squeeze blood from a stone. It's like nobody's thinking properly about what's in fact happening. Xbox even went ahead and made this tweet themselves. Xbox tweeted out, if you're reading this on an Xbox. There's more ways to play on Xbox than ever before. Hazardor Gaming had the best response, saying this: drop console prices. Being most expensive box and least favorite brand in the industry is not doing any favors for the platform. And Hazardor is absolutely 100% correct. Right now, the 2TB Series X is $799. This is setting a bad precedent, the fact that gamers and many others are just rolling over and providing these costs and saying, you know what, we'll buy it anyways. We saw those prices skyrocket during 2020 when everybody was locked inside and people were scalping all these devices, paying thousands of dollars. We see this exact same thing happen over and over again. They wouldn't raise the price if they knew you weren't going to pay it. And many people are in fact just going to pay it because entertainment is a commodity that is rare to come from these days, and people having fun is also a rare commodity. The problem is these gaming companies are taking way too much advantage of you as a consumer and charging $1,000 for a handheld and then another $50 more from the other handhelds in the market doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially when the entire idea of the Xbox brand is to everything be an Xbox, to everything use Game Pass. If you're pricing people out of the actual branded hardware that you're providing for them to buy, then it makes no sense if you're trying to put your service everywhere. The idea should be, hey, we can sell our hardware at a loss or at a cheaper price and then have more people actually join the service and give us money every single month. That way, no matter what device they're on, the most expensive one or the cheapest one, there's a price point for them and the bracket fits correctly because the highest price is not too high, so people in the middle can buy that one if they want to, and the lowest price is good enough for everybody to be then entry level, so that way everybody is there and the biggest net is cast. That's the entire point. Now though, they're basically trying to go to specific spots of fishing and then only using smaller nets to capture the people that have more dollars and cents. That's a joke, by the way. It's a dad joke. You'll get it. You'll figure it out. Cents and cents. You got it. Don't worry. You got it. You got it. No, you got it. You got it. You got it. You got it. Yep. But I love this one excuse that we're seeing right now, and everybody's trying to blame the orange man bad tariffs. In fact, take a look at this response to one of my tweets, with Tyler saying, without tariffs, it might have been $7.99 or $8.99. Can we stop this whole like tariff shenanigan thing happening right now? People talking about tariffs have literally no idea what it's actually impacting. If you want to see why this is not a problem, the Real Life Fake Wizard made a fantastic video about tariffs happening with Xbox and their previous price increases. If you want some great insight into why tariffs are not the issue, take a look and watch it. It's honestly fantastic. But I'm going to expose today why tariffs are not an issue, and you're going to see exactly why this is in fact not the real problem, and it clearly is a pricing strategy from Asus and Xbox themselves. Now we're going to do something fun though. I want to compare the actual pricing of the previous Ally models to what we're seeing right now. And when you see the price disparity of what's actually happening, you're going to be a bit shocked. Here in fact is the ROG Ally 7-inch 120Hz 1080p gaming handheld Z1 Extreme that came out in 2023. The model number is listed right here. In fact, at right now on Best Buy, it is $649. The original MSRP of this device was actually $699. The entire thing went down $50, basically because they could not compete with the actual Steam Deck and what it was doing for that performance and that price point. However, though, when you look at the Xbox ROG Ally, they lowered that price by $50. And in my opinion, that is still too expensive, especially with what the Steam Deck is in fact doing right now, and the performance being in fact pretty much the same or on par. This device should have been $399 to compete with the Steam Deck OLED. That would have been a much better call overall. And in fact, the original Z1 Extreme should have also been lowered in price to make sure that this device could fit properly into the actual slot of where it needed to be price-wise. We didn't see that. We only saw a $50 decrease and then another $50 decrease for this model as well. That tells me one of two things. They want this to be the baseline. They want $600 to be the floor of what you're going to be spending. And if, hey, you're spending $600, why not spend a little more? Am I right? Here is the original ROG Ally X with the Z1 Extreme processor. On Best Buy, it is $899. Now, this device came out in 2024, and in fact, the launch MSRP of this model was still $899. This device should have been lowered to the $599 bracket. That would have made far more sense to put it into perspective, because you would have had a better price point and a new slot for the actual model above it, because that would have been replacing whatever this one was. The price would have made far more sense. Oh, the original was $899, then it lowered in price, and now the new one is the same price. That makes sense because, of course, technology moves on, manufacturing gets easier, things get better, and it's easier to produce. Am I right? No! Here's what the new Ally X is going to be costing you. $999. They kept the actual ceiling of what was happening with the previous gen of the Ally X and decided, you know what? What's $100 extra more right now? This is the same strategy that Nvidia does all the time, where they don't lower the price of their GPUs anymore and they just increase it from the previous gen to the next one. That way you're thinking to yourself, it's only $100 extra more bucks. I spent that 5 years ago. It's not going to be a problem now. That's how they do it. And now they're doing it right now. Asus has been screwing the pooch and putting people over a barrel ever since the beginning. And Xbox letting them get away with this pricing is a massive failure on their part. It should not be $1,000. At the worst possible case, this device should be $699. I said what I said, and I'll say it with my chest. Yes, it's going to perform very well. Yes, it's the higher end tier model. I don't care. The problem is, what's a high end model if nobody's going to buy it and it sits on a shelf? But apparently, I'm the only one that thinks this, because according to Xbox's tweet, here's what they said. The hype is real. The ROG Ally X pre-orders are sold out on the Xbox Store worldwide. You can still grab yours at asus.com/store or find a local retailer on xbox.com. I'm cooked. I'm cooked, everybody. I'm done. I might as well pack it up. If this device is selling out worldwide on the website, we're done. Gaming is no longer for people to afford and enjoy. It is literally now for the ultra wealthy to go through and spend the most amount of money as quickly as possible, turn it back around, scalp it, and then sell it to each other for even a higher price at the very end. Yo, $1,000 handheld sold out. I just can't, man. I just can't. And honestly, like I said before, the Ally X should be $699. Why do I say that? Because the Steam Deck OLED at $512 is $649. And if you're going to outperform that device and be $50 more, then it makes more sense to do so. But apparently nobody knows how to price things anymore. Everybody's just stacking the highest sticker price they can and watching those two morons go through and buy it and scalp it back to each other back and forth. Jesus, what is even happening? But at least somebody has some sense. Look at this reply. Hazardor Gaming also responded to that tweet saying this: if I had to spend $1,000 on hardware, it would be on PC. That said, handhelds are getting so good by next gen, you'll have limitless options. If only they made more cost-friendly devices, because I'm sure next gen consoles won't be cheap, and I might look at a handheld that plays my library. That's all I'm asking for. That's all I'm looking for. I'm just looking for good, affordable pricing. If you're going to be expensive the right way, not exponentially increase the cost of your device simply because you feel it's going to be worth that. That's not how these things work. What this system should be costing is not about your tariffs, which you've already debunked multiple times on this channel and so many others. It's not about, it's such a good device, you guys, you should pay more for it. Like that $1,400 one that we saw. Talk about huffing your own farts on a consistent basis. The thing is, the floor for the entry has to be at the right spot and be affordable. If you're more expensive than the actual consoles that you're putting out, no one's going to buy that device because even the console itself doesn't make that much money right now and nobody's even buying it. So how would you price out even more people? Again, the white Ally should be $349, $399. It would make so much more sense and be like, whoa, hey, these guys are actually competing for my dollar. I get Windows, I get Game Pass, I get the Microsoft stuff, and I get an entire PC for the same price or $50 more than a Steam Deck. That seems like a possible deal. Same performance? Hell yeah. Or, $699 for the Ally X. Well, hey, wait a minute. Now you guys are like really outdoing yourself in terms of performance, and you're $50 more than the actual Steam Deck OLED for the actual 2 terabyte? Sure, yeah. Okay, that makes sense too. Like you have to price yourself properly. If you don't, you're just going to be putting people out and no one's going to buy your device. What good is a sub-service that you're trying to get people to join onto or buy your games from if the people that actually want to buy the products can't afford them? We are now hitting a generational time where consoles will be costing $699 base, $799 for the disc drive, $899, $999 for the Pro model. And people sitting here letting this happen really just burns my biscuit. I'll tell you that right now. It's honestly ridiculous that these kinds of things are happening, but it's going to come crashing to a head because what's going to happen, in my opinion, is they're going to be pricing people out. And the more people that are priced out, the more they have to squeeze blood from a stone. And this is the part where gaming is going to collapse in on itself. And I don't want that to happen. I want gaming to continue to thrive and expand and grow more, which is why I want every game on every platform to allow everybody else to play those games. But the problem is you're not going to get people on your platform or your actual digital storefront if you price them out. Look, I'm incredibly disappointed in the pricing of this product. It shouldn't be this high at all. And I know they're gonna have people like, the performance, I don't care. I literally don't care. The performance is irrelevant if I can't afford it. How's that? How's that? Basically, straight up. 5090s should not cost $2,000. 5090s, the 90 series GPUs shouldn't even exist. Those are workstation cards. They're not gaming cards. The 80 class cards of NVIDIA should not cost $1,200 plus. They should be $699 at the most. Stop giving these companies excuses for the pricing habits that they want to put on you simply because you're too stupid enough or willing enough to pay for that price. Jesus. I just don't get it. Am I the one who's out of touch? No. You're out of time. I'm out of my head when you're not around. You're out of touch. I'm out of time. I'm out of my head when you're not. Oh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you liked today's video, thank you. And if you didn't like it, fuck you. If you want to see more of this kind of content, more PC board reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, my hot takes in the gaming industry, fanboy content, and live streams every Saturday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 95K, and I just want to say thank you guys so very much. If you want Discord access or most during live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. If you don't want to spend the buck, don't sweat it. Come on down Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, where I dress up as a banana and people insult me with AITTS. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!